Hey everyone, Matt here from Doc's Running, and today we're going to do a comparison review of the Saucony Kinvara Pro and the Adidas Adizero Boston 12. Now, why am I comparing these? Because on paper, they're actually quite similar. Specs are really similar. How their design is really similar. How they function is another story, as they're two kind of different beasts that tend to excel at different things. But what I really want to answer for you is, are these appropriate for you? Which one, if you're interested, might be a better option for what you're looking for? And some other comparisons between these two things that might help you with those further considerations. So let's get into the specs first. Again, they're both performance trainers slash super trainers, depending on how you want to define that. The Saucony Kinvara Pro does have a higher stack height above that 40 millimeter limit, which for most people really doesn't matter that much, to be honest. Whereas the Boston is under that limit. But getting into specs is actually similar. So Kinvara Pro, 9.5 ounces, men's size 9, 8.5 ounces, women's size 8. 42 millimeters in the heel, 34 in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop. The Adidas Boston 12 comes in at 9.4 ounces for men's size 9, 8 ounces for women's size 8 with a 37 millimeter in the heel, 30.5 in the forefoot for a 6.5 millimeter drop. Like I said, both of them have Super Foam up top. Both of them have EVA below. The fits are a little bit different, but they both have stiffening agents. There's a carbon fiber plate over in the Kinvara Pro, and then Adidas Energy rods over in the midsole over here. So let's get into fit first and see how things differ. So there's a little bit more room in the forefoot on the Adidas shoe, which is surprising because Adidas definitely did not have that for a while, but they've been doing that a little bit better recently with some of their Adizero line, which is surprising. The fit's a little bit more flexible. Like I said, more width in the forefoot. Midfoot, heel. Midfoot's fairly normal. I had to lock down the laces quite a bit. Heel's fine. Haven't had any heel slippage, so normal, slightly snug, but nice and somewhat flexible in the rear foot. So it's just a nice upper that you kind of forget about, which is really nice. Kinvara Pro is a little bit different. There's a little bit more structure to the upper. Definitely fits a little bit more snug. It opens up really nicely, but snug fit throughout. I didn't have to tighten the laces down that much. Didn't have any heel slippage for sure, but just a little bit more structured. Thicker heel counter over here. Things do tend to lock down a little bit better on the Kinvara Pro, but that's only because it is a little bit more snug. So if you want a little bit more room, the Boston might be a better option for you. If you want things to be a little more snug, the Kinvara Pro might be a little bit better option for you. If you want a little lighter upper, Boston might work better. If you just want things to have a little bit more structure, the Kinvara Pro is probably going to be a better option for you. When it gets to the midsoles feel very different. And it might be because things are a little taller in the Kinvara Pro, but the Kinvara Pro feels a little softer underfoot. Boston's just a teeny bit firmer. Both have plenty of cushioning underfoot, and I really want to clarify that. These are not minimal rides at all. There's a lot of foam underfoot. But it's just the Kinvara Pro rolls just a little bit better. Not a little bit better, actually quite a bit better. And what that lends itself to is the Kinvara Pro, in my mind, is the better easy long run shoe. So for easy mileage, easy long run efforts, maybe a little up-tempo stuff, the Kinvara Pro really excels. If you're not the fastest runner, or if you're not looking to run very fast and just get out there and have a nice, comfortable long run, the Kinvara Pro really excels. It was designed as a racing shoe for non-elite runners. Those who are maybe faster could use this definitely as a trainer or long run shoe. But for those looking for a racing shoe that's not the most aggressive, that still have some of those super features, that's where this shoe really shines. It does struggle for me at faster paces. It feels like it kind of like tops out at like up-tempo efforts. I've tried a tempo run in it. It wasn't my favorite thing, but long runs, oh, this is a sweet spot for this shoe where it just feels good going and rolling right along. It's really nice. The Boston's different. It's more of a well-rounded training shoe slash up-tempo faster shoe. I've done training miles. It does feel a teeny bit stiff, but when you pick up the pace in this shoe, it feels great. I've done tempos, I've done fartleks, I've done faster stuff, and it feels really good. So if you're looking for a faster long run shoe, or like, hey, I don't want to use a true super shoe for my long run, but I want something that kind of gives me some similar vibes without being as aggressive, that's where the Boston's going to come in. It's got the versatility for someone that definitely wants to run as a trainer, but also can easily pick up the pace. I would choose the Kinvara Pro personally for long runs at an easy pace, but if I needed to go faster, I would definitely choose the Boston 12. It's just it's the lineage of the shoe. The shoe finally got back to where things were with the version 8 and 9 that we kind of lost with version 10 and 11. So if you want a speedster or a shoe that could really pick it up, that's where the Boston's going to be. If that's something you don't like, that's where the Kinvara Pro is going to come in. Now, also talking about stability, because that's what we talk about. The Kinvara Pro wins out just kind of on the basis of a few things. The Boston's got that narrowed midfoot. There is a little extra stuff. There's the plate extends over on the lateral side, which is nice for people that land at the lateral heel and don't want to go too far lateral. For someone like me, though, that does pronate in, I like that. So when I go and hit here, it pitches me inwards. That can be great when you're running fast and it gets you onto your first toe and pivots up. When you're running slower, you got to have a little bit more stable mechanics for that. It's not unstable, but you just need to have decently stable mechanics for that. The Kinvara Pro does a better job of that. There are side walls in classic Saucony fashion. The midfoot doesn't narrow as much as it nearly could on the medial side. It doesn't feel unstable in any way, despite the top layer of super foam. It just feels like it's got a little bit more guided ride forward. Not a stability shoe, but definitely on that stable neutral ride where I'm like really enjoying it, even though the top layer and the sidewalls is a super foam. So if you want a little bit more guidance, the Kinvara Pro is going to be your thing. But if you're not worried about that and you just want to run really fast, that's where the Boston 12 is going to come in. Now, the final question is who are these shoes appropriate for? So if you're just looking to run easy miles and you're like, don't get this super stuff in my face, I just want to have a basic shoe, these might not be your best options. But if you want something, these things that can do some daily training, and you want to run in a super shoe, but you've been having trouble with the true super shoes, either you're injured, they feel too aggressive, they're uncomfortable for you, these are a nice mesh between the two of them. I think you could train in these full time. I'd probably say maybe training in a carbon plate might not be the best option for everybody, but if you need a little bit more stiffness and most traditional trainers aren't doing that for you, that's where these might come in. They do have a little more inherent aggressiveness, right? They've got stiffening agents, they've got super foams, but it's a nice balance between training shoes and super shoes where you don't have to go all in. They are a little less expensive than super shoes. Durability depends on which shoe. Kinvara Pro has not lasted for me just because there's no outsole. So I've ripped through this. So if you're light on your feet, this will be fine. For me, the durability is a lot better than the Boston. I've got like 60, 70 miles, almost same as over here. And the outsole's great, but that's kind of how some of the Adidas shoes have been working for me. Well, at least not the Adios Pro 2, which I ripped it off in like 40 miles. That's a different story. But the newest rounds are doing really well in durability. So if you're looking for kind of that halfway point between a super shoe and a training shoe, and you want to be able to experience that, be it on race day, if you're a slower, not as quick runner is kind of a better way to say that, or if you are a faster runner or anyone who wants that like just a ability to either go really long or pick things up a little bit more than a daily trainer, that's where these shoes are going to come in handy for you, and you might be interested in them. Hope that was helpful, just because there's a lot of shoes in this category that are coming out, and I'm hoping that some of these videos make things a little easier to decide. As always, one of the most important things, to be totally honest with you, is if you can get these on your feet, that's going to be the best determinant. We know that from the evidence. But if not, hopefully these videos help you make a decision and help you find a shoe that's appropriate for you. It might be one of these, it might not. Please remember that whatever's going to find the best shoe for you is going to be dependent on you as an individual, and there really isn't such thing as the best shoe because our bodies change all the time. Hope that was helpful as always. Thanks for tuning in. We'll always have new videos and new write-ups. Check back because both these actually have full written reviews. So if you're curious on those, take a look at the website. If not, check all the different media sources we have, and always appreciate the comments and people talking to us.